What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about why the new Batman game, Batman Arkham Legacy, or whatever you want to call it, won't be at Sony's State of Play. Now, you could say, Alex, this is very unlike you. Are you sick? What's wrong with your head? And I will tell you, this is a very different approach to it. But I wanted to make this video. This is very, very big news. It honestly is, and I kind of wanted to get out ahead of it. I wanted to give my thoughts of it because I'm sure somebody out there is probably interested in that, but I also want to explain my logic of thinking. So if you follow along with the channel for enough time, which I assume a lot of you guys, a lot of our people that have been following us really since August, you'll know that pretty much whenever any event gets announced, I at least give the possibility or give it the time of day to say, you know what, maybe they'll announce something. Maybe Batman could be there. I truly do not expect it here, and I wanted to again kind of say that out loud just so that people don't say, well, do you think it could be here? Do you think this is like... I don't want people to get super, super excited for this day. I would more want you to get excited for the Game Awards. I truly, again, I will tell you, just like I do in every single video, and I will continue to, I really do believe it's the Game Awards. And I'm going to explain why. So why won't it be at Sony State of Play? Well, let's go over exactly what they said in their State of Play. We've got around 20 minutes of new game reveals, release date announcements, new gameplay footage, PlayStation Worldwide Studio updates, and more. And it probably bears repeating, don't expect any updates related to our next-gen plans in this episode. You can watch the show, yada, yada, yada. So I actually like that, getting ahead of the people saying, oh my God, PS5. It's like, obviously, no, this is still current generation stuff. Next year would be that. And so, and I can see if you read that, they even say new game reveals. So they could very well. I mean, it's not impossible. And none of the stuff I tell you on here is saying like, hey, it's not, like, mark it down in your calendars 100%. It's not going to be there. I'm telling you from my personal opinion, which at this point, you guys have all 100% earned the right to either trust me or go along and say, oh, I think the same way, or I think around the same way, or you say, you know what, we just flat out don't agree. I'm not going to go with what you think. And that's totally cool. That is up to the individual person. Again, you guys have been here long enough. It's not me telling you no. It's me saying, I don't think so. And if you guys disagree, that's totally cool. Another way you could look at this, if you want me to be optimistically pessimistic, you could say every single time I've predicted or I've said that I think it could be somewhere, it's never happened. So this is the first time I have said that I don't think it's going to be there. Actually, I said that as well for the last State of Play back in September, the one at end of September that ended up being really, really hyped up. I originally had said, no, I do not 100% think it is going to be at that. And then as it got closer, as rumors started to come out, it started to really seem like it was definitely a possibility. Maybe it's the same thing here. Right now, I'm telling you no. I said the same thing back then. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe there'll be a rumor over the weekend that, like, hey, this is when it's going to be. I just think that, like, and again, it's what we've talked about. That Sony does have connections, and Arkham Knight was announced at Sony's E3, so I understand that. I get that. I think it would have just made more sense back in September. Right now, where we're sitting in December, it's like... It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a jab at the Game Awards, to be quite honest with you, because now for the Game Awards, I would not expect anything Sony-related at the Game Awards. I really wouldn't. I mean, Death Stranding may take home all the awards, but that's just because Jeff Keighley loves Hideo Kojima, like literally loves him. So, like, that's probably it, though. Like, I'm sure if you guys saw my predictions video, like, maybe we'll get some Zelda news. Maybe they'll announce like a Mario Kart 9. There could definitely be some Nintendo announcements. Microsoft could certainly be there. There'll be third-party stuff. I really think that is just the showcase for Batman. It's kind of been what's always talked about for Batman for months, even by people that didn't kind of nail it down, like, oh, this could be at this date, this could be at this date. When you think of the Game Awards, or when you think of when this game could get announced, a lot of people did jump right to the Game Awards as like, yes, this makes the most ideal sense in terms of, like, it's the biggest stage. It's there's obviously the connections with Jeff Keighley. Not necessarily it makes sense that they do all the teases and they make us wait way, way, way too long to the point of losing all their hype and all everybody's excitement for it. Like, that didn't make sense. But I really just feel like the connections with Jeff Keighley, the stage of the Game Awards is that place. It's not State of Play. And another reason is, like, here's the deal with this State of Play. It's over 20 minutes long. Now, That's long. Normally State of Plays, well, the first couple were like literally 5 to 7 minutes. The last one, I believe, was closer to like 10. They're getting somewhat longer. They're starting to expand. But remember when State of Play, that late September one came out, I even said in the video right after, like, I don't want to get fooled with State of Play again. And I'm just kind of remembering this now. Let's all remember that. State of Play is Sony. It's very, very heavily Sony, while also being maybe some other things, but they're normally small, save for maybe one or two other kinds of announcements. Now, a lot of people are speculating that Resident Evil 3, that remake, is going to be there. That makes a lot of sense. That was actually leaked a few days ago, or like earlier this week, even into the weekend, of like a PlayStation box cover of Resident Evil 3. So you could probably imagine that that was something that they were getting in the works for putting in State of Play, and maybe it got leaked, maybe it, it snuck out of there. So that makes a lot of sense. Also, Jeff Keighley confirmed that Capcom is not going to be at his show. So we know that. So that does make that kind of opens it up for it to be at Sony State of Play. Nobody said anything about Warner Bros. Nobody has said anything about Warner Bros. Montreal. But again, State of Play, PlayStation centric. It also says new game reveals, release date announcements. Now, release date announcements and also new gameplay footage. While it's 20 minutes long, and you could say, well, that is plenty of time to announce Resident Evil, to do something else, to do like 3 other things, and then do Batman. Yes, yeah, it totally is. At the same time, I really think this is Ghost of Tsushima's moment. Now, actually, rumor had it that Ghost of Tsushima wasn't going to be talked about till next year. I really think that's been pushed up now. I really feel like they probably think, okay, we've done Death Stranding, we have The Last of Us, we did that. That was the centric thing of the last Game Awards. Now it's time for Ghost of Tsushima. And why am I saying that? I really feel like out of the 20 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes are going to be gameplay for Ghost of Tsushima. I truly do believe that. Maybe even a release date right after it. So, to be quite honest, I think almost half of it is going to be on Ghost of Tsushima, and the rest of it is probably going to be on a lot of other smaller things. And who knows? I mean, Blue Point Games is making a remake, probably a Demon Souls remake. That could very well be there. A lot of the PlayStation-centric things, the last kind of, basically the dying stuff of the PS4, the stuff that they have left, really, I think is going to be what this show is all about. Maybe showing that Iron Man VR game again. I'm kind of rattling through it. I know you guys came here for Batman, but I just want to give you more of a picture of what I think State of Play is going to be. I think it's going to be the biggest one yet. I think it's going to have a lot of stuff. Well, it depends, because The Last of Us Part 2 was that huge thing. I don't think they can top that, like game for game in this one. So maybe technically last one's the biggest one. But I just feel like based off of everything we've seen from the, 3 State of Plays we've gotten so far, it's not the place to do Batman. And I made the mistake last time. I mean, I came out ahead of it, and I said, no, it's not going to be there. I don't think it's going to be there. And then, rumors infiltrated my brain, and I was like, well, it's possible because of the connections. It still is. I'm not telling you that it's not going to be there. I just think it won't. I really, honestly can't imagine that it's going to be at the PlayStation State of Play with the Game Awards 2 days later. Now, if they miss both of them, I mean, for the love of God, Warner Bros. Montreal, I really don't think that can happen. I really think that it's not going to be at State of Play. I don't think anybody should panic about that, because I think 2 days later it's going to be at Jeff Keighley's show. I just really don't think that kind of stage, because again, it's the end of the year. It's going to be talking about probably the first 6 months. State of Play is probably going to try and do a lot of things Jeff Keighley's Game Awards is doing, where it's going to really highlight the last kind of things that are releasing. Like I said, the dying stuff. It's not necessarily, I'm not saying dying as in like they're all going to do bad. Like, this is the end of the PS4's life cycle, and I really feel like this State of Play is going to be like, okay, here's everything we got left. And if Blue Point's game, by the way, if that Demon Souls remake isn't a PS4 game, then it won't be there. But like Resident Evil, they'll probably do Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think there'd be any of The Last of Us, but stuff like that, PS4 games, probably indie games as well, smaller things that we still know are coming out in the PS4 lifecycle. And also, if you want to think about it a different way while also being like anti-Batman being there, is obviously there's been a lot of talk or a lot of like speculation of, could this game be a cross game? Could it be a cross-generation game? Could it be a next-gen game altogether? Could it come out, like, if it comes out in the fall, later fall of next year, you got to imagine there'd be a next generation copy, or it would come out on current gen, and within like 6 months to a year, it would also be on next gen. I don't like that idea, honestly, for any game, but that honestly could be the path that they choose. But if they're going to do that, that would also put it out of the running. I really don't see Sony talking about anything, and I get it, like, it's not a Sony specific thing, but I don't see anything being at Sony's State of Play that isn't coming out before, say, September of 2020. I feel like that's probably the cutoff. In fact, that could be when Ghost of Tsushima comes out right before next generation consoles. It kind of is the only spot that makes sense because you don't want to put it too close to The Last of Us. So I really feel like that's the cutoff date. So if you think Batman's coming out after then, there's another reason why I just don't think it's going to be there. You could then argue, well, why would it be at the Game Awards? Well, that's a good question. I honestly have no answers for you. It really should be out before that time. I really think this is an August or earlier game that could make it a possibility for Sony State of Play, but I really think more than half, I'll say 60 to 65% of Sony State of Play is going to be Ghost of Tsushima and Resident Evil 3's remake. And then the other 40 or 35 is probably going to be smaller games. Those are the two big hitters. I don't think Batman really fits into that. I think it makes a lot more sense for that to be like the main thing. And people have, there's been leaks or there's been people saying it. I don't know how real it is, but obviously we reported on it last week that it's rumored to be the last thing. The conclusion of the Game Awards will be this Batman trailer. So if that's the case, then it's like the showstopper. It's the show ender. It's the conclusion of a major, Game Awards show. And if that's the case, then obviously it's big. And we know Batman is a really big property. This is a really big game. It would kind of even measure up to Ghost of Tsushima, and I would think that Sony wants Ghost of Tsushima to be like the headliner of this State of Play. I don't think they want a third-party game outshining their own game. And trust me, if Batman got announced, even though Ghost of Tsushima would probably get a release date, if Batman got announced at their State of Play, it would overshadow everything that they announced also, which means Capcom's Resident Evil 3, which means, again, Ghost of Tsushima, and I don't think Sony wants that. At the Game Awards, it makes sense. What else, I feel like Batman really can be the biggest thing that's at the Game Awards, and there's not that much besides maybe a Rockstar announcement, Bully 2, GTA 6. There's not much besides that can really outshine Batman. Okay, so let me know in the comments below, guys. Obviously, very different video, more pessimistic video. I like to make these every once in a while, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Are you expecting it? Again, I'm not going to think for you. I don't want to police your thoughts. You guys are very, very smart. You guys are very, very creative also with your thoughts. So go based off of what you think. Don't take my word for it if you don't want to. I mean, if you think the same way I do, that's totally cool. But I personally am not expecting. I'm very excited for Sony State of Play, but I'm not expecting it there. So there's going to be more videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We got a packed lineup. Very, very excited for all three of those videos. Got some really, really good ones coming out for you guys. And then obviously the Game Awards that night, we will be having a video whether or not, one way or the other, if Batman is or isn't announced. Again, let me know in all of these videos what you want me to talk about once the game gets announced. If you want me to do like trailer analysis or talking about maybe things that you might have missed, or it's talking about specifics about the game, anything like that, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have that bell icon hit. And thank you as always for watching. I'll see you on Monday's Batman video.